If you're planning your first cruise, there are a few mistakes that can cost you hundreds of dollars, perhaps even thousands. And the thing is, I see people making these mistakes every single week. Now make sure you stick around to the last one, because it's the one that causes the most panic, but is the most easiest to avoid. My name's Shane from SD Blake Travel, and I help people book cruises all the time. So what I thought I'd do was that I would shoot a quick video going through the top 10 mistakes that first-time cruisers make, so you don't need to pay extra money or endure extra stress. You can take your first cruise as stress-free and enjoyable as possible. Now, some of these mistakes are small, but others are pretty big, and they can literally ruin your cruise. So pay attention, let's go through them one by one so you can book your first cruise with confidence, get on board, have fun, enjoy yourself, and hopefully become a cruiser for life. So mistake number one, booking the wrong cabin location. Now, being a first-time cruiser, you might not be aware that where your cabin is on the cruise ship can drastically influence your experience. For example, if you are directly below the pool deck, you might be awakened every single morning with the noise of scraping of the lounges being put in place, or you might even hear people walking above you as you're sleeping or whatever. You could also be located near the theatre or the nightclub. You might even hear the bass pumping as people party late into the night. And likewise, you could be very forward or very rear or aft, which means you might feel a bit more movement. And if you've never cruised before and you don't know how you're going to go with seasickness, that could be an issue. I actually had someone comment on another video here on YouTube. They mentioned that they've booked a guaranteed cabin 3 times, and all 3 times they've had terrible cabin locations. By that comment alone, you can see that the location does influence your experience whilst on the cruise. So the key takeaway here is to always check the deck plan. Look above you, look below you. You want to avoid noisy areas. And if you're unsure of location, just choose midship. It's always safest. Can't really go wrong if you get a midship cabin. Mistake number 2. This one here is waiting too long to book. You see, there's this thing where people think that if you wait long enough that you're going to get these miraculous miracle cabins that are super low cost and you're going to get on board for next to nothing. But the reality is that popular cabins sell very early. We also see prices rise over time. And depending on where you are in the world, demand could be increasing. So for example, I'm shooting this video from Sydney in Australia, and we have fewer ships down here, but more people wishing to cruise. That means demand is going up, supply is going down. Guess what that's doing to prices? The longer you wait, the more you're going to pay in the Australian market at the moment. And what we're seeing is that a lot of the best deals are often coming very early in the booking cycle. The earlier you can get in, the better deal you're going to get, the better location on the ship you're also going to get. Mistake number 3, making your decisions based on price alone. Now, this is a classic mistake, and who can blame people? Everyone wants a good deal, right? But the thing is that good deals often come with trade-offs. And a cheap cruise does not equal a good cruise. And if it's your first experience, you probably want to have a great cruise, to be honest. You want to check it out, see if you like it. You want to put yourself in a position where you're going to have the best experience possible. And going cheap might not be the way to achieve that. When you are price focused, you could make the following mistakes. You could choose the wrong cruise line. You could select the wrong ship style. You could get the wrong cabin type, and you could just get short cruise disappointment. You know, you might go on a cruise for a couple of days and you get off just wanting more, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but hey, could have been better. Now, an example here is that you might go on a short cruise because it's the cheapest, and you might find that it's a party heavy atmosphere. You might not have been looking for that. You might have been looking for something quite relaxing. And so that short weekend cruise that is just a booze cruise might not give you the best experience. So again, just look from the perspective of you're paying for the right experience. Don't go too cheap. You always want value, but please don't make your decisions based on price alone. The cheapest cruise might not be the best cruise for you. And the bottom line here is that if there's a mismatch with anything, be it itinerary, cabin type, cruise line, cruise ship, that equals regret. We want to avoid that at all costs, if at all possible. Mistake number 4. This one here is not budgeting for total cruise costs. So cruises themselves inherently are pretty inclusive for the most part. you'll get your entertainment, your food, and some drinks whilst on board. But key thing is that it's not all drinks. For example, if you're drinking alcoholic drinks, a lot of the time they're not going to be included. You might need to elect for a drinks package, for example, which is an added cost. So your cruise fare here in Australia, a lot of the time that will include port fees, expenses and taxes, and sometimes even gratuities or tips, but it might not factor in everything that you're expecting. That could be drinks, including not only alcoholic drinks, but specialty coffees. And if you want a good coffee on a cruise line, generally speaking, that costs extra. Wi-Fi is another additional cost that you need to think of, as well as specialty dining. Not every restaurant on the ship is included in your fare. There is going to be ones that are like specialty restaurants, which means that they are generally higher quality, more exclusive, better menus, so on and so forth. And generally speaking, they will come at a higher or an additional cost. Shore excursions are another thing you need to factor in. So when you go to a port and get off the ship and go and experience things ashore, and those shore excursions there can cost you money. So you need to factor that in as well. Now finally, gratuities or tips. So here in Australia, we don't have a tipping culture. So this can feel weird and it might not be something we're expecting, but some cruise lines, if you go on them, there's going to be tips or gratuities expected. So you kind of got to factor that into your total cost of cruising. Now just remember, the cruise fare does not equal the total cost. Have a think about all the things you want to experience or have access to whilst on board or during your cruise. Just do a little bit of research, find out whether those are included or not. If they're not, how much it's going to cost you, just so you can factor it in and budget it as a whole. Mistake number 5, choosing the wrong cruise line. This is huge and is often overlooked. Every cruise line has its own personality. They're slightly different. They've got different things going on. Some of them can be family focused and they cater for kids, whilst others can be party focused or adult focused and not cater for kids. Some can be premium, others can be luxury, others can be mainstream. So depending on what your expectations and what you want to get out of your cruise, that will drive your cruise line selection. And if you get it wrong, that can equal disappointment. Again, we don't want that for your first cruise. We want you to have a great time and come back for more. What we need to do is make sure that you're factoring in experience and what you want to get out of the cruise with the cruise line and the cruise line's personality. Mistake number 6, not checking what's included. Now this is slightly different to the previous point about not including everything in your fare, because some cruise lines are going to be slightly different with their inclusions. So what you want to do is make sure that you're comparing apples with apples. And when I say that, you want to make sure that you're comparing a fare from a cruise line that includes all the things that another fare from a different cruise line includes as well. If you're comparing fares and one of them has less and therefore costs less, it might look like it's cheaper on paper, but then once you tally up all the things that you need to spend, it could become more expensive. And that's how they get you. So some cruises and some cruise fares will include drinks, will include Wi-Fi, might include tips and gratuities. And that's massive things for us Aussies. Now this can be very confusing for first-time cruisers purely because you don't know what to look for. That's what it pays to reach out to someone for help, just get some expert guidance. Or you can just drop a comment on this video here and I'll answer your question for you if you like. So just remember, regarding this point, 2 cruise lines can look very similar on price, but what's included can be completely different and it can result in a very different experience. Now before we move on to mistake number 7, why don't you take a moment just to subscribe to our channel. Give us a like on this video and drop any questions or comments you have below and I'll answer them for you. But hey, every like, every subscribe helps us massively, and we've got a very big pipeline of cruise related content coming. So if you have other questions that you want to know regarding cruises, drop them in the comments below and I will film a video of it eventually if I haven't done so already, and we will help you make the most of your cruising experience. Mistake number 7, overpacking or packing wrong. The thing to remember about a cruise is that you're in a cabin and a lot of the time there is limited storage space. Overpacking can make things feel cramped very fast, particularly if you're a family. You're taking along heaps of shoes or heaps of clothes and you run out of space. The cabin just feels cluttered from the get-go. And you don't want that. You want a nice relaxing space. Depending on the cruise line, you might also experience formal nights. And for a formal night, you need to dress a certain way. You need to dress formally. There's going to be guidance before you get on board. Make sure you pack according to that guidance so you can participate in the activities if you wish. There's nothing worse than getting on board and not being able to participate in a night because you didn't bring the right clothes. You'd rather choose whether to participate or not, rather than not being able to participate because you didn't bring a collared shirt or something. I don't know. There's also theme night, same thing. You don't want to be someone rocking up to, I don't know, like a white party wearing a bright red shirt or something, I don't know. Just check out the theme nights, make sure you bring whatever you need to participate in that theme if you wish. Medication's another thing, so if you have medication at home, make sure you pack it and bring it on board in your carry-on. Don't pack it in your luggage, just in case your luggage is delayed for whatever reason. And also, if you suffer from motion sickness, you might choose to get some motion sickness or seasickness medication before coming on board. Make sure you do that. It can be quite expensive if you get anything from the ship's medical centre. Well, avoid that if you can. Make sure you bring your essential travel items, things like chargers, so on and so forth, things that you can't live without, but please don't overpack. Maybe go through the things you've packed once or twice just to see if you really need something. Just pack smartly. Make sure that you're bringing stuff that you're going to use, you can reuse, rewear, so on and so forth. Mistake number 8. Not booking key experiences early. Now this can happen to even season cruises, and in fact this happened to me on my birthday cruise this year, where we went on a princess cruise, and there's this amazing dining experience that I wanted to go to for my birthday, but I left it too late, and by the time I went to book, it's already sold out. The thing about cruise lines and cruise ships and shore excursions and activities is that there's going to be a lot of people on the ship and only limited space for the most popular experiences. So don't delay, because if you leave it too long, you might experience the regret of not being able to do it simply because you left it too late. Now you might be asking, what are the things that fill up? This could be specialty dining, could be shows, could be shore excursions, spa bookings, or onboard activities. So for example, from Sydney, Anthem of the Seas has this contraption that goes up, and it's called the North Star. So if you've got a couple of thousand people on the ship and they all wanted to do that, you'll run out pretty quick. So make sure if you want to experience something like that, you're booking nice and early. Mistake number 9. Choosing the wrong cabin type. Similarly to cabin location, the wrong cabin type can influence and impact your cruise experience. If you're expecting to be able to open up a door, step onto a balcony, and feel the sea breeze go past you, don't book an inside cabin or an ocean view cabin, because guess what? They don't have balconies for you to step out onto. In fact, an inside cabin or an interior cabin doesn't even have a window. So if you want to see the water, you need to not book an inside cabin at all. Now, the thing is, inside cabins are the cheapest, so people will see them and book them, but then when they realise that they don't have a view, they can't see outside, or that there's nothing, it's just 4 walls in the cabin, so they can start to get a bit worried. So depending on your expectations, just book the cabin that makes the most sense for what you want to do. Now before I get to mistake number 10, which is the final mistake, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you're looking to book a cruise anywhere in the world, there's going to be a link in the description below where you can search for over 45,000 cruises all around the world. You can select your departure port, you can select where you want to go, heaps of options to filter down by, but you can search, compare and book heaps of cruises, over 45,000. So go ahead and check that out after this video. Now mistake number 10 is the one that causes the most angst. And it's the one that I alluded to at the beginning of the video, but it's also the one that's easiest to avoid, and that is flying into your departure port the same day that the cruise is departing. All it takes is one mishap with the airline or the aircraft, or something to happen with the weather. If you don't leave enough time, you can be flying in and trying to get to the cruise ship before it departs. And here's the thing, the cruise ship will not wait for you. It will depart on time. So if there is any delay to your flight, you will be impacted and everyone else will be sailing away. Likewise, you might have some issues with your luggage where you've got to hang around the airport and wait for them to go find your luggage because it's been, I don't know, misplaced or something like that. Even just those small delays can cause you serious angst and anxiety to get to the cruise ship on time. So just avoid it. Just fly in a day early, stay the night, have a nice leisurely breakfast, head down to the cruise ship when your boarding window opens so you can get off to your holiday with the best start, relaxed, ready to enjoy the cruise experience. Now, the worst consequences of this one is that you could miss your cruise, you could lose money and completely miss your own holiday. It's an expensive mistake, causes a lot of stress, not the right thing to be doing for your first ever cruise. Just get in a day early. Trust me, you'll feel much better. This is particularly important for any international travel for obvious reasons. Going a long way is more that can happen. Just those things that can introduce some variables that can slow down your travel and potentially put your boarding at risk. So there you have it. That's 10 mistakes first-time cruisers should avoid at all costs. Avoiding these mistakes makes cruising smoother, which is exactly what you want for your first experience. Planning makes the difference. Make sure you take the time to plan out, think about what you want to do, and then book the things that you need to. And your first cruise should be enjoyable. You should have a wonderful time. Hopefully you come back for many, many more. If you're planning your first cruise, make sure you're subscribed because we've got plenty more cruise tips and hacks coming. You don't want to miss out on those. And if you found this video helpful at all, make sure that you share it with someone so that they can avoid these mistakes as well. That's it for me. Enjoy your first cruise, and until next time, keep cruising.